Hello, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada.
The snow is stopped, but it's crazy cold
Oh,
and there's snow
really?
on the ground. Hi.
I had no idea. We are going to get up to 60 here in Sacramento. So I'm kind of excited because we've
I
had
would think.
unusually cold weather for Sacramento. So we're excited. We have fog, but we don't have snow. Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh my goodness. So guys, I want you to make sure that you have your pencils ready because Coach Karen always has such practical tips on what to do with your money. So we're going to dive in, but I just want to say it's so good to see you, Coach. We
Oh,
missed
good to
you. We know
see you,
you.
girl. Always a pleasure to be here on Wednesday.
You know, and we just really enjoy connecting with you and hearing from you. And it's my understanding that you're going to have some really fabulous things for us for 2022, and we
Yes.
can't wait to hear
Yes.
about them.
Yes.
Don't let me get out of here without letting you tell us what you have in store for us.
All right. All right.
Okay?
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay, so let me put you over here where I can minimize myself and let you get to rolling here. What are we talking about today, Coach?
So, without any further ado, today we're talking about aptitude because last week we talked about talents, and I
Yeah, we did.
hinted at the end saying that other word for talent is like aptitude, genius, gifted. So, we're gonna dive into a couple of those right through this month. So today we talk about aptitude. So this last week was my first week back, and guys, we talk about talent. If you didn't get that
Mhm.
episode, we really dive in and we had a good time. Just
And you may want to watch the replay if you like me and you forgot that your life and stuff is happening in your life. You need to go back and watch it again.
yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
we talked about that. So this week we're talking about aptitude. And so I'm gonna give you the meaning of aptitude, then we can talk a little bit about it and
Okay.
we'll figure out what you guys want to do with it. Take this information, use it, take notes, and really do an expansion by investigating yourself. These master classes, even though they might sound like just discussion, these master classes is so that you can really take what you need out of it, take notes, and look inside of you because only you can do it and see where they apply or where you need to apply them and where they correlate with what you're doing right now. It's really there to help you. Sometimes we get all these big pictures and we're like, well, how do we make it work for ourselves? But it really,
Yes.
truly is coming to you at the right time to do the things that you needed to do. All right, without any further ado, aptitude is a natural ability to do something, a natural skill or talent. See, we back
Mm.
to the talent. Aptitude is defined as a high level of intellect or quickness to learn. So when we hear about aptitude, intellect is the first thing that comes to mind. This is why when somebody hears or a quickness to learn, somebody can learn something quickly like woodworking. And because it's not intellectual, people might see it as not as much. And so they might not think in their heads that they have a natural ability, or somebody who has speed, they don't see that as a natural ability. They might see it as an aptitude, or somebody who, I remember my daughter read a lot and she did English, and when she was invited to the gifted program, one of the biggest things on the panel was most people are invited to a gifted program because they are mathematically inclined,
Mm.
and she wasn't. So I remember this orientation guy asking, so what's the big deal with English? How is giftedness? How is her heading on the English? Because most people are coming from math or science, and her principal was there with me because she wanted to be in on the interview, and she said, some people can't even speak English. Let's just break it down right now. So
Mhm.
what? That's a silly question to ask. But for her level, she's working at 4 levels above her age range or a class range. This is a gift. You don't just be able to read at the speed with the understanding, because reading is one thing, but comprehension is one of the biggest things in
Mm.
literature good at comprehending, and then regurgitating it back to you in such a manner and using words that you got to really go get the dictionary and open up to know what she's talking about because she used to really just
Yes.
kill me.
Huge vocabulary.
Yes. And she knows how to pace herself. It's this natural gifting that she had. But over time, she was questioning her aptitude too. And I'd seen her in different stages where she's thinking that I'm bright. I can do this. So what? Everybody said it's a common thing. And that's what I really want to bring to the table. Most things that we know to do naturally, we don't understand. We don't understand that that's exactly what it is. It's supposed to be easy. We make it hard. This is like me saying we're born wealthy, and to get to our richness or riches, we're going to have to do the work. That's what it is. So we're going to get whatever he said we're going to get anyway. But we can't sit down and open our arms and say, I'll just let it fall in. So all the things that you go through, all the difficulties, all the things that look like hard, if you were to turn it around and have a look at it differently, you'll see sometimes he's setting us up and he's clearing the way so that you can get to do the things you want to do. So he might be, and who's he, God? He might be setting you up in such a manner, and it doesn't look pretty when it's happening. So you're like, why am I going through this hardship? Why is this happening to me? Because he's helping you develop what is there. Good morning, Cecilia. What is innate in you? What is there? When I was since I was little, I was always a neat and tidy person, and that is straight from my mom. But I realized I also have an aptitude for organizing and being very strategic, and I didn't know it because I was a kid. But when my mom gave the same training, to my siblings, but they're not orderly. They got their own strength. And so this is not me knocking on them. It's just me explaining something and how you are naturally.
You may take a shine to something in particular, and it may stick with you. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes. And then you start having to watch because, I've been called out for being a goody two shoes, knowingly happy person, just a lot of things that initially made me feel bad. Or somebody said to me, I got high standards and I can't expect anybody to live up to them. And just things that used to trigger me and made me feel bad because
Make you feel, guilty or whatever.
yes,
When in fact, you are, what would you say, have a natural aptitude for that.
exactly. I love order. I love things being neat and tidy. And I used to be explaining myself a lot. And then one day I just cut it out. I said to myself, I am who I am. This is what it is. If I change, then you wouldn't get the other parts of Karen that you love, that you claim you love, then you truly don't want to be in my presence. And that's okay. And I was about 27 at the time, and a friend said some just really nasty things to me at the time. We worked together, and I didn't have any friends in Canada. She was like my only friend, and she was giving me a ride. And I remember saying to myself, I said to her, the next day I just took the bus. I didn't take the ride from her, but the next day when I saw her, I said to her, first and foremost, you can't speak to me like that. Secondly, I will not be riding with you anymore because I'm not going to change who I am so that I can fit into that little square that you're pushing me into. And I say this because lots of times that's what we do.
We do. We compromise our gifts and our talents because someone else does not appreciate them.
Exactly.
And this happens a lot, especially in long-term relationships like
Yes.
marriages,
Yes.
like family,
Yes.
friendships, the job,
Yes.
because we get on the job and we feel so minimized by these
Yes.
comments that
Mm-hmm.
we don't speak up.
Right.
We could save the company thousands of dollars, but because someone squashed that gift in us.
Yes. Yeah. And it's hard. I make no mistake. I know it's hard to speak up, especially when, like for me, I'm coming to a place where I'm coming to my dad's house and I have not a friend, and he's really my only ally and this one friend. And for me to take her out of the picture because I figure, we fix things, but at the time I figured that's what's going to happen. I had to be okay with it. because I wasn't willing to dull my shine. And I'm saying this because that's where you are, when you have something that you want to do, whether it was business or your friendship or your family, this is what we do. And then we wonder why we can't get to what I just said, born with wealth, but not going towards our richness. Because imagine,
Mhm.
Terry, you are who you are and you like what you do and you're really good at it. And over time, you and I both knew if you were making $100 a week somewhere, and I'm just going to say that number, I know, yeah, it's not money, but you making $100 a week, and you stay at that place and you improve yourself and you get better at what you do, and you keep doing it, if that's your job,
Mhm.
over time you're gonna be, if you do longevity, whether you stay in that company or you move to several companies later at different time, you're gonna build up your wealth. You're gonna build up your
Yeah.
money. Because you're really into what you do well. And that we talk
Mhm.
business people, but I always start with yourself and then I go to the job situation and then I move to business because that's how most people life has run themselves.
Mm.
I know not there's people like me, yes, but most people start out school and work.
Yeah.
I fortunately start out school and business. So that's where my journey is. But most people, that's why I speak from that point of view. And so when you're in that situation, you have to understand that people jealousy is going to play a big part in it
Mm.
because they wish they can do what you can do.
Okay.
And if you state what you can do, it's almost like you can't be honest in how great you are because you're boasting when you're just delivering facts because somebody you having a conversation. That was the other thing I noticed, and I wasn't used to it. So for me, I had no holds bar, but I realized a lot of people have those barriers because of how people have made them feel. And I learned to and develop where you can't, I'm not giving you permission to make me feel any the way that I don't want to feel, and I'll stop you in your tracks if it means we're done. And I know it's not easy to do. But when you're just doing all those things, then you can get to what you're good at. You can't really get to, this is really the point. Your natural ability can't get to shine. You can't really get in there and do the thing that you want to do. I tell you, if you are the best cleaner, then you are the best cleaner. That's it. You get in there and you do it. I remember hiring a lady once and she said to me, Karen, all I ever did was serve coffee, but I really want to learn. And I taught her. She stayed with me for about two and a half years until her husband got sick and she couldn't continue working for me. But that woman came in not knowing to clean. But I tell you, she could clean, just not to the professional standard. I
Yeah.
trained her, and diligent, showed up on time, did her job, never complained. When I found out her situation, I was surprised. Always a smile in her face with what she was dealing with.
Yes.
She had this way about her that you wouldn't know that her husband was sick. He was, needing a lot of care. So when she before she left home and when she come back, so she had to be orderly in her thinking and thought process to
Very
make all this
scheduled.
happen so that she can still produce an income because he couldn't, and the little tiny disability wasn't able to carry them, so she needed this job.
Mm-hmm.
And she came and she performed. She used all her natural abilities, which is organization, which is time management. Rather than just seeing her as a cleaner, those are the things I started looking at her. And she was one of the people that I based a lot of my hiring off of. Time
Uh-huh.
management, very disciplined. It also helped her to be that made her very punctual. She's very inquisitive, so she asked a lot of questions, which was important. Clarify things she didn't understand. Like, I could
Mm-hmm.
name a bunch of things that she allowed me by me hiring her to start checking off what was necessary and important in my hierarchy and making sure that those ability comes natural to people. Lots
Mm-hmm.
of times when somebody own a business, they'll say, well, I can't hire anybody, I don't hire right. But hiring right meaning you need to take the time to find out the right people for your company so that your company can sing and do well. And so you'll be financially stable because it's money I talk about. So I'm going to get right back around to that.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
you know?
Wow. And you know something, sometimes attitude is more important than even aptitude. Because
Yes,
if you're willing to learn and apply the knowledge, then people can work with you.
people can work with
People are
you.
willing to take
Yeah.
time up with you.
Yeah. My dad used to always say, if you got a great attitude, I'm willing to train you. Somewhere
And
in
my
there.
pastor says your attitude will determine your altitude.
Mhm. And it's so true. It's so true. It didn't matter what you hire me to do, I
Mhm.
show up and I do it well. I remember when I was hired as a waitress at a banquet hall, I got my hair done. I dressed to the nines and I got in there. And my boss said to me, "Are you coming to serve or are you a part of the wedding party?" But I wanted to present the best me possible. You
Mm.
know, and I maintained that. I worked with him for like 2 years. While I go to school or what have you. I used to work there part time, full time job and work there part time, and I got my hair done every other week,
Mhm.
and I got in there looking well put together. Because I'm serving people. People are at a wedding, and you can't be. I had to tell one of the waitress, I'm like, you can't looking like if
Looking all ratchet in the pictures.
it's true because I never did, but lots of time they'll say, "Let me get a picture with the waitress."
You know what I mean? I don't know why. So you never know. And nowadays, you're always on camera,
Girl,
24/7. Traffic
girl,
lights, ATMs, you
everywhere,
you
everywhere.
name it. People taking selfies. You're in the background. There's stuff going on.
Oh my gosh, I tell you.
Yes, they're filming their kids, and there you are.
Yeah, we have this thing called exhibition place. It's no longer because of Corona for the last 3 years. But my friend and I went together. We busy taking picture. We looking back at the picture, and we had a guy was photo bombing us like crazy. He's standing. We saw him in 3 pictures, and he's like, and my friend and I was like, what?
Yes, indeed. So you just got to be ready.
You gotta be ready. Okay, you gotta be ready. So, what and how do we find out what we have an aptitude for, and how does it show up in our finances? You're going to go through some things. If you're paying attention, you're going to find out quickly. And if you're not paying attention, it takes you longer to find out what you have an aptitude for. If you were to write down, and this is the writing part, if you were to write down all the things you're good at, coaches tell you that if you're looking for a job and you're getting into job training, they're going to tell you write down all the things that you're good at. This is what they're trying to find out from you.
Yes, they have you taking all these little tests.
They're trying to find a thread so that they can attach to and then show you where all your strength lies. When they show you where your strength lies, if it's something that you are not passionate about or had enjoyed doing, it feels strange to you. A friend and I had taken this aptitude test, and I'd come out being a secretary or a clerk or what have you. And she keeps saying to me, "Are they crazy or a leader?" Right? She keeps saying to me, "Why are they putting you in that?" And it took me years later, and she and I really we end up talking about it years later because she went to take it back for something. Just work at a bank. And she was an accountant. She was like, I'm not a secretary or anything. She was an accountant. But what really it was saying to us, if we looked further in, at least that's what I did, is that we were organized and we looked after things at the top of the head. Because most times, the secretary and the person who is the gatekeeper is what's keeping everything together. The president and CEO
Yeah,
sometimes are scatterbrains.
that's why they call them admins now. You're administering things. You're making stuff happen.
Right? The president of the company I used to wash dishes at, Mr. Mitchell, he always would say, Karen, if you want anything get done, talk to Angie. Talk to Angie and she'll schedule it and I'll be all over it. But just make sure you talk to Angie. He's like,
Okay.
I am not the guy. I got the title, but honestly, she's the one. He always give her credit, and I loved him for that. Like he always would give her credit. Well organized woman. You could go to her for anything. Her disposition was so great. She had a stern face. She was German, so a
Mhm.
lot of people used to mistaken that for her being rude or what have you. But she was just very disciplined, and she didn't like nonsense. So if you get there
Yes.
with what you need, and what you truly want, she'll look after it for you. She just don't want you to come there and waste her time, because when I look back, this woman was looking after a retirement home with over 300 and something residents, and is partially responsible for training the hospital next to it. This woman's job was not light. She's looking after the president, which means everything, almost everything.
She was the gatekeeper. Yeah. Wow.
So not to waste time. So when you understand where you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to lie, and you stop fussing about it. Because here's a sneaky thing about passion. I want to take a segue here. So, sometimes some passions, not all, especially the creative one, since you floating away in this dream world where you can fully concrete things down for it to make financial sense. And not everybody, but sometimes they do that. And this is why when I coach people who is creatives, I always find out from them when they don't like it. It's like, how long did it take you to cook the dish? How long did it take you to knit the sweater? How long did it truly take you to braid the person's hair?
Mhm.
And and I've had people who say to me, "Well, Karen, what does it matter? I mean, we were chatting, we had a good time." I'm like, I love people and I chat. But once I recognized that when I was a braider, that if I braided somebody here and it took me 12 hours, and I only get paid when I divide the money, $10,
Mm.
I can't keep that business. I either have to let it go, speed up my time, or charge more money.
Yes.
It's one of the three things. And the same thing with seamstresses, it's the same thing with all these other creative things, you gotta understand how it work into play. I'm a bookkeeper too, and I hear bookkeepers ask all the time, how much do I charge an hour? And we are always saying to them, don't charge per hour, charge a flat fee per month. And then go in and see the work, but you got to, well, I mean, there's other things to do, but charge that kind of money, because again, you're dealing with numbers. You're fixing somebody's book. Sometimes somebody comes to you and they literally didn't know that they should have had a bookkeeper as part of the planning of the business. Like, talk
Mhm.
to a bookkeeper. Yeah, you need an accountant, you need a lawyer. Talk to a bookkeeper and find out how she's going to help you keep your books, how things is going to work out. Because you can go to on QuickBooks Online, and that's what most bookkeepers use anyway. But they bring more to the table than just punching in the numbers. They see where your businesses are. They help you with profit and loss. They help you see that the business is going to make sense.
Mhm. Mhm.
That conversation might be hard, but you need to know it. You need to understand it. You can test out business ID. You don't have to register, get a domain, and all that stuff right away. And sometimes people do all that stuff without understanding that the profitability that they can have in the business is really not there.
Mhm.
It just should stay where it's at. So when you understand your skill point, you understand also who you need to hire. You understand who need to come and be part of the team. They don't have to be an employee, but need to be part of the team to make this dream become your reality. And then you're not fussing with the other things.
Mm.
You understand,
Okay.
and it helps your finances to be fine tuned into what you need them to be.
So we need some guidance.
Some guidance. When I hear somebody say they want to make $5,000 or $10,000 a month, I always say to them, "So what are you going to do? What are you doing to make it?" And they're like, "Well, I sell this and that, and I hear other people say they make 10,000 from the same gifting that I have. So what would be the difference? I mean, if I sell or market a little bit, I should be okay." Oh. No, you're gonna have to set you up for the success you want, so that you can see the rewards in your financials,
Mm.
in
Mhm.
your profits, in your revenue. But we coming back to it. We work in the natural abilities that we have. And it didn't matter what it is. You could be a librarian, you could clean out the gutter, you could mow the lawn. If that's your natural ability, I promise you, you will do well in it, and it shows up and expands itself. Years ago in Guyana, I we had hired well, he wasn't a landscaper, he didn't call himself, but he said, "I cut grass." That's what he would come around and say. He knock on your door and he says, "Can I cut your grass?"
Mhm.
And we'd hire him. He did a good job. So we had him come, ever so often. Like, he after he came about 3 times, he made a schedule and he said to me, he says, I can come this and this time because I see how the grass is growing and what have you. And he would come and he'd cut the grass and he would, look after the little trenches and all the little extra stuff he would do that I didn't even think about, Terry. He would
Yes.
just do it. And I remember one day asking him, he says, I just started cutting grass and I start realizing how much more I could do on people's lawns. And when I see anything extra that needs doing, I'll do it. And I'm adding it to my service. Would you want it? You see, he's working in his natural abilities. And because
Mm-hmm.
he's working his natural abilities, he started with just a hand. We call them cutlasses, but you guys would call them like, I can't remember what you guys would call them, but he was using by hand. And then over time, using by hand, his sister, he told his sister what he's doing, and she invested in him by buying one that worked with gasoline. And so
Okay, so
now,
he had a hand mower, and
yeah,
then she got him a rider mower.
yes,
Uh-huh.
and then she also invested in some other equipment. I don't know what it was, but he was just saying this to me. And why am I bringing that up is because when you work in your natural abilities, God would just open doors. He just opened doors. He just keep pushing and moving you. I am telling you, Terry, we had this guy for about 6 or 8 months, and next thing you know, he came and he says, Caren, I hope you don't mind, but I'm training two guys. Is it okay, since you were one of my first customers, that they come along with me and help me along? I am telling you, I had a guy for 2 years before I came. By the time I left, he had like at least minimum 6 people working for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now we talking about finances here, right?
Yes.
You see what's happening. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of just mowing, doing my lawn and my neighbor lawn, because he was doing the whole stretch, because he did such a good job that I told the girl next door, and she told the girl next to her. And then when anybody come and they ask who's doing it, I said, oh, it's, what's his name? What's his face? And they're like, can I get, can I get his information?
And
I'm
I
like,
get his number. Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
you see how your financials start clearing. This is why you don't need to fuss and worry if somebody sews or do hair or upholster um, chairs. If this is your natural ability, you're gonna get your portion of people who is gonna come and allow you to upholster chair.
Mm-hmm.
My Petra's first babysitter husband was a car upholster. I didn't even know they exist. He did your car.
Mm-hmm.
Poppy, we are calling Poppy. And I am telling you, Poppy never out of work. He said, God, wake me up in the morning and he lay my head down at night. So this is the skill he'd given me, and this is the one I'm going to work with. He upholster car, truck, van, seats. That's all. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
People try to tell him all the other things he could do and we're going to be better. And no,
Yes.
Poppy would always say, nope. I get there for 7 in the morning and I leave 4 in the afternoon. I get to spend time with my wife. I get to look after my kids and I'm happy.
There you go.
He said they tried to tell him he could go and be a mechanic. He's going to make more money. Never. He is working in his genius. And he was a good person. And they live well because they were working in their genius. Simple people. She was a babysitter. She told me she was a stay-at-home wife and she wanted to bring in some extra income. I saw her flyer. I needed a babysitter. I went and speak with her. She was one of the sweetest women ever. She watched my child right through college. I was so sad when we moved and we didn't have her anymore. Like I
Mm-hmm.
traveled and took my kids to her
Yes.
before,
Yeah,
they
because
went.
they had connected. Yeah.
She was more than just a babysitter. This is what she was born to do. And sometimes people misunderstand that. Like housewives, housewives do so much and people take it for granted.
They
Not
do.
everybody have a
So they
natural
have to pay
ability to
for the
run a house.
services. Yep. So they have to replace that and pay for the services. Yeah, it's just amazing.
I counted up a whole year. I
Mhm.
counted up a whole year and I was shocked at how much money we saved in me cutting everybody hair, looking after everybody hair, sewing everybody clothes. That whole year, Terry, sewed everybody clothes for the whole year. Husband and my two kids. I didn't have Pierce at the time. I cut everybody hair. I cooked. I sewed. I drive them everywhere. I did everything for that year and I put $1 to it. I wasn't
Oh,
teaching
okay.
money yet because usually we just do it. I started putting $1 to it.
Yes,
Everything
we
my
do.
husband needed me to call in for and fill up every form, I put $1 number to it. At the end of the year, I said, this is what I worked at 4 times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because most of us do not put a dollar amount to it.
No, we don't.
We would surprise ourselves. That's a natural ability to be able to organize your home, organize your finances, organize the activity for your
Well,
children.
I'm just the activities for your children. I'm thinking about how um, the other week during the holidays, we had to send an Uber for one of the children, whereas normally we would just go pick them up. That's an expense. So,
Yes.
chauffeuring is no
Yes.
joke, and
Yes.
parents do it all the time.
All the time. And Paul was doing he was running and Petra was playing the piano. I have to catch his stuff
And
hobble
run
back
over and get her.
to the piano. And then she had a recital somewhere and he had a track meet. And I was trying to figure out how we're gonna be able to because my husband is at work. Like
Mhm. Just juggling all that stuff and then our own schedule.
yes. So when I say you have a natural ability, promise you, you have a natural ability that if when your kids go off and they don't need you anymore as much, and you want to turn this into business, you can make the listing of the things you did, how much it costs next to it, so you can see the ones that you truly love and you want to work towards. And then all of
Mhm.
a sudden, a whole bunch of things open up. That's another thing. I heard a lady talking about it. She said, I really want to be a bookkeeper, but I've been a stay at home mom forever. And I said to her, so you are already, you know how expense work. You actually understand how to keep the books. That's why you were able to live where you lived. And he
Mhm.
didn't have to worry.
Yeah, people have a natural aptitude for different things.
Mhm.
So, Coach, let's summarize.
Okay. So today we talked about aptitude, and really it's about the natural ability to do something, a natural skill or talent that you have. And please don't discount whatever that is. If you're not a doctor, if you never wanted to be a doctor, do not discount it, because we always have to look at what it is, the money we make against the time we spend doing it and how it makes us feel. This is important, how it makes us feel. So, that's what we talked about today. Last week we talked about talent. So it's tying itself in. All this week we're going to talk about all these things that surround and really allow you to make and grow your finances. Because I repeatedly say this, we're born wealthy, we got to work to our riches. That's it. He's given us the skill, the talent, and the gift. We got to work towards it.
Thank you
Oh,
so
you're back.
Thank you so much, Coach Karen. We
You're
just
welcome.
really appreciate everything you do for us. And we're excited. We're working toward our riches by exercising the gifts and talents that have been
Yes.
placed in us, because now we recognize that we have a natural ability to do something
Yes.
called aptitude.
Yes. I
Thank
like
you
it.
again. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, guys, let's go and get it for 2022.
Two. Oh,
That's
I
this
can
we're
just
the
feel
Get
it.
It Done crew for 2022. So with that, I just want to remind you to go to the front of your own line. And I have people coming and going. But I want you to tell us a little bit about what you have coming up for 2022. Remember, I told you don't let me get away from here.
We got a few things coming up for 2022. We got the money management workshop coming up. I want to do a little bit of the multi passionate, because just listening and keeping my ears to the grind and doing research on how many people really handle more than one thing, but to do it profitably. So those are stuff coming up. And then in April, so talking about it from now, in April, my big 8-month program will be out. So I'm starting to give you guys, that big program is really going to help you to find out who you are. If you're struggling, it's going to really help you to see where you need to be. And we're
Mhm.
going to go into all about finding out your why, where you need to be, how to market, how to sell. This is going to be a really interactive program. You're going to get coaching in there. You're going to be able to work through. My goal is, if you follow through is that within the 8 months you more than make back your money that you're going to pay for the program. Because once you put your mind to it and you're ready, because we all have to be ready to do
That's
that's
it.
once you're ready, you'll see a significant shift.
Oh,
in the
hi,
morning.
Elizabeth. I didn't realize Elizabeth was in here. Hi, Kay. Kay, Elizabeth is here this morning. Good morning. Uh,
Hi.
yes, so we're looking forward to hearing more about your upcoming programs for 2022, Coach Karen.
Yes. Ooh. I'm working diligently hard, guys.
Yes, because you have been working at this. I want to remind everybody that they can find you on Profits in Daily.
Mhm.
So I'm going to put that up here. Coach Caren
Yes,
Fern at
yes.
Profits in Daily on Facebook. In addition to that, I want to advise everybody that if you'd like to become a part of the Biz Chicks community, you can text Biz to 33777. And somewhere up here I have a banner for that. It's
Darren get
kind
it
of
for
hard
you.
to scroll and and read at the same time. But you guys, 7 7. Here it is. I believe this is it. Yes. Text Biz to 33777 and become a part of the Biz Chicks community. Coach, we love you. We look forward to hearing more about your program that's coming up for April. And we want to remind everybody to go to
To
the
the
front
front of your
of
own
your
line.
own line.
Mhm.
Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.